So we've looked at different ways we can have opt-in forms on a WordPress website using a couple of plugins. But what if you don't use WordPress? If you don't have WordPress, then I mean, one of the reasons I recommend WordPress is just because of the variety of things out there that enable you to just get things done. If you don't have WordPress, you do have the option of using the embedded form, which is a bit of HTML code that you put into your page, and it shows up as a form on your website. Okay, so to show you what that is, if we go to our audience, and if we go to just over on the right hand side here, we go to our sign up forms, and we select embedded forms. Then we have this these options here. So we've got the classic embedded form, and it gives you a preview of how it's going to look with your current settings that you've got. Now, as you can see here, it's asking for things that you've got set on your form builder. Go back and look at the form builder, which I've got open here. You know, these are the things that we have got on here for different uses, for different things that we want. So what we've got option wise, so we've got the different we're in the classic mode, and it gives us this very classic sign up form. And if you remember, we've got we set up this interest for people to select what they wanted to kind of opt in for, as what their interest would be, and it would put them into relevant groups when they select that. So you can leave that on if that's of purpose, or you can turn it off like so by not showing the interest group fields. So we can show the required field indicators, which gives us this indicates required legend and the asterisks up here. And we can show format options. Where is that? Yeah, we haven't got it turned on, so that makes no difference at all. We've got the options of only showing required fields. So that is the things that we've got in here that are required, which is, I believe, is first name, last name, email address, and the data use agreement. They are all required fields. So if we only select show only required fields, actually nothing is going to change because that's all we've got anyway. Or show all fields. So right, if we take one, let's make last name not required. Let's make first name not required. Okay, let's refresh this. So if we select, let's get rid of that and that. And if we select show only required fields, then we're just asking for email address and data use agreement. Or show all fields, we've now got the first name and last name in there as well. So we've got the basic form there, as we'd like it. GDPR fields are disabled, it's telling us. We've got the option of changing the form width, so we can actually set the width in pixels. If we don't set the actual width in pixels, it will take on the width of the area where it's placed in your website, so it'll adjust automatically. So I'll probably leave that blank unless you're specifically going to put this on a specific page going to be viewed on a specific device. So if you when it comes to this enhance your form, we can include an archive link into the form as well, so people can view previous campaigns. That's optional there. Why it's there, I don't know. We can include the Monkey Rewards link, which is the Mailchimp logo, the powered by Mailchimp there. But what we're going to do now is we are actually going to, if we're happy with that form, we are going to copy this code here, and then we simply go to our websites. Now again, I use WordPress. So in your website, whatever you use, there'll be a section where you can insert HTML, or maybe you can just do it in a text box and it will automatically recognize that. So I am going to put in a custom HTML box, and I'm literally going to paste that in there. If we click on preview here, it shows us what the form is going to look like, which looks okay, not too bad. Again, we've not really got much styling options here. You know, if we wanted to do this styling a bit more and change the button color and stuff, we could, you know, we'd have to start playing about with that HTML code that we've just pasted in here. So I'm just going to update that and show you what it looks like. Let's view the page. So there's the subscribe form that we've got. That looks not too bad. You know, it's quite tidy. It's reasonable, and when people enter their details, it will send their details over to Mailchimp, and that's how you can subscribe. I'm just going to go into this form again. I'm going to turn off the title and get rid of that title at the top there. Subscribe. I'm going to copy the text again. Copy. And then it's the embed form. I'm just going to edit that page. I'm going to replace all this code and update. As we can see now, when we look at it, we just lose that title at the top, so it doesn't say subscribe. Right, so I'm just going to quickly put in some names in here. Let's call it Hill. So put in a random email address. It's not actual real. Agree and subscribe. Okay, thank you for subscribing. That's as simple as it gets. That's all we can do. Okay, so other types of embedded forms we've got. So that's classic form, classic layout. We've seen it all before. We've got a condensed layout. And what condensed does is it basically just asks for email address. That's it, just the email address. We can put a form title on there as well, but that's it. That's all it's asking for. Now the problem we've got here is we set up that GDPR checkbox that we sort of configured ourselves, and we made it required. So what it's saying here is you have more than one required field, and condensed forms includes the email address only. So we cannot use the condensed form in this situation because we need to add other fields we've told Mailchimp we require. You know, if you required somebody's first name, then again, you'd have to have that in there and you wouldn't be able to use the condensed form. Horizontal. So it puts the form in line. Again, it's not giving the option of having the other form options, but it's also not telling us we've got an issue with it this time. So we lose our GDPR field, but again, it gives us a nice sort of inline, very narrow sort of subscription box. Unstyled. Now this is like internet in the 1990s when it first came out. We'd see these very, very basic box. Again, just like the classic, it's got the same options, so we can go through it that way. And then advanced forms, we've got ones where we can do custom CSS, you know, for styling your sign up form a bit better. So if you want to learn about that, I'm not a coder, I don't teach much CSS. Any CSS knowledge I've got, I have to rely on the internet to sort of work it out. And I never really do that because there's better ways of doing it through your website. If you do use WordPress, which I do for very different reasons, it just makes it much better to customize things. It's a lot easier to customize things. The platform offers so many more different options, which makes my life so much easier. So there is options of creating custom forms and doing CSS. You can have hidden fields in your form, which we will go over shortly. and you can create custom sign-up forms by connecting to the API, which we basically do with the WordPress plugins. We connect to the API, and it gives us very, very powerful features. But again, it's going to take a bit of coding, and it's not something that really you want to spend your time doing unless you are a coder, in which case it'd be no problem for you to do anyway. Okay, so we did just go through on here and just put a couple of email addresses in. So let's go and have a look at our audience now. Let's view contacts. And we added, who was it? We added Hillary and Jamie. And there we go. We can see Hillary Birch and Jamie Wellbeloved show up in our list now with their dodgy looking email address. And you can see they agreed to the terms of use, sets out the privacy policy. And you can see that they're not in a group or they are not tagged because we haven't gone through that option yet. So we can't tag through an embedded form, but we can do a group, which I'll show you in a bit. Actually, if we did have the embedded form with the interest options available and somebody's picked an interest, you would see that interest show up under the interest column under here. You can see they're subscribed, and you can see that they subscribed via the embedded form. Okay, cool. That's a very simple embedded form. So the next one we go to is we're going to go to the embedded forms with a hidden group.